Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. But today's Currie Cup 5 things learned from this past weekend. The Cheetahs and the Pumas advancing to the Currie Cup final. That will be in just about 3 days' time, really. It's on Saturday afternoon. We'll be live for it. You can come and join me for the watch along, see who will be crowned Currie Cup champion. Will it be the Pumas once again, or will the Cheetahs do it? Which everybody wants because it's the previous 2007 2019 the Cheetahs won the Currie Cup and the Springboks went on to win the World Cup. So it's a pretty good omen that if they were to go on to win it. But the Pumas will not be thinking too much about that and will be very much looking to try and upset the home side and get themselves another Currie Cup title. So today what we're going to be doing is reading 5 things learned from this last weekend. And obviously it's just my sort of 5 takeaways. And you can let me know what yours are down in the comments below. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. And without any further ado, let's go over to number one. Right, so after the Bulls crashed out of the Champions Cup, crashed out of the URC, they turned their focus completely to the Currie Cup in an effort to try and salvage their season. They sacked Edgar Marachule as the coach. Jake White came in. The URC team came in. And yet they still went out in pretty spectacular fashion, really, with the Cheetahs putting almost 40 points past them and winning by 29 points in the end. That, for me, would indicate that the Bulls, as a union, need a bit of a rethink, a bit of a reset. You know, they've got very good players, but where's it going wrong? You know, for example, have they got the wrong type of players? Have they got the wrong sort of model? Where's it going wrong with the Bulls, who a couple of years ago were the top side in South by country mile? All of a sudden now losing to the Cheetahs in the semi-final. That's quite a few steps back. I do think there needs to be a sort of relook at a bit at the recruitment, for example, and what sort of model they follow and the type of players they bring in. But at the end of the day, they've got a long off season now. I think they are going to make some very good signings, but I think they need to have a complete relook at how they distribute their resources, how they use their coaches, and how they can get themselves over the line in the future. So a massive learning curve, I think, for Joe Mangala, who has been brilliant at the Sharks this season. He turned that Currie Cup side around. He got them into the semi-finals. I think could have won. Could have won. I wouldn't say should have won, but could have won that semi-final had they just had a bit more X factor. I think they got the tactics wrong at the end of the day. I think they tried to force the Pumas' hand into making it a set piece by set piece battle, and the Pumas were wary to that, and they said, no, we're not going to get drawn into your tactics. We're going to play on our terms here. And the Sharks didn't really have a plan B. So I think it's something that Joe Mangala will learn a lot from. He has said he's been really good this season, and I think he's growing in leaps and bounds as a coach. But at the end of the day, they got it wrong on the day, and they paid the price. I do think it was a nice learning curve. It's not quite the same sort of panic stations as the Bulls because it wasn't the Sharks' URC side. It was very much a Currie Cup side up against Currie Cup champions, and they came up short. But I think there's a couple of decent takeaways. But at the end of the day, as a union, they are expected to do better in the Currie Cup. They really would like to have won it. Right, the Pumas might disagree with this, but watching the Cheetahs dismantle that Bull side this weekend means that it's theirs to lose. It really is, I think. They topped the Currie Cup table. They lost a couple of games, but I think that you look at the quality in that Cheetahs side, you look at the discipline they showed, the experience in key positions. Having Ruan Pino at 10 is irreplaceable to the Cheetahs right now. I do think they've got enough and more than enough to win the Currie Cup. Obviously, still have to pitch up on the day and get the job done. But I think right now it's theirs to lose unless the Pumas can really create something to spoil their day, really. So it was a pretty important season for the Pumas this season. They needed to prove that last season wasn't a flash in the pan, that they are actually a side which are genuinely building good depth, that are building towards something. The Pumas have always been a side in the past which could pitch up every now and again, but struggle with consistency. And that's a resources thing. That's the reality of being, one of the smaller unions in the country. You can't compete with the budgets, with the systems, with the resources that your top four unions have. And even that the Cheetahs have, there's tiers. It kind of goes URC teams, Cheetahs, then Pumas and Greekwood, and then kind of everybody else. But what they're proving is that they can create very good players and turn maybe players who are, I wouldn't say rejects, but can reignite careers. Diego Paulus is an example. He's been signed by the Sharks, so how he's really reinvigorated and reignited his career at the Pumas. And I think that they deserve the support that they're asking for. How we give it, not entirely sure, but they've definitely proven that the first of all, wasn't a once-off thing, and that they really deserve the opportunity to be taken a bit more seriously and to be given more chances and more backing by SA Rugby. So they weren't the worst crowds this weekend. I'll say it wasn't the worst crowd. I think the Free State Stadium was pretty full. They kind of closed the top tier and only used the bottom tier. And the Durban crowd was not massive, but not horrendous. But overall, I think attendance was obviously pretty down. The lack of a headline sponsor definitely probably comes into it. And I think that's sort of, for me, a big thing about how we need to rethink the Currie Cup. Everybody keeps saying, well, change the schedule. I don't think that's the solution, because I don't think and if there is, then we need to really look at a proper two-squad system for the URC sides. From a player welfare perspective, we can't just have these never-ending seasons. There needs to be an off-season. So, for example, the Lions players have already had 2 weeks off now. We're going to the second week off. They can have a genuine, up until the end of June, come back mid-July, still have a 6-week camp, getting ready into September, or in the URC starts, whenever the URC will start. We haven't had final fixtures. So I don't think the calendar's the issue, but I just think we need to think out the box. I think we need to look at how we double up with the URC, for example. How do we take the Currie Cup to maybe clubs? How do we take it to smaller stadiums? How do we take it to different communities? We've got to try and think about this competition and how we reinvigorate and how we make it exciting, how we still make it valuable. And I don't think, we should be sitting there going, oh, well, it's not the Currie Cup of old, therefore it means nothing, and we should just scrap it. We don't want to scrap the oldest competition in the world. The reality is that things change. And it doesn't mean what it meant once upon a time ago, but that's because the modern game has progressed. And you can either accept that, move on and innovate, or get left behind. And I don't want to see the Currie Cup left behind, but I do think we need to find a way of making it a bit more exciting, taking it to more fans, use it as a way to really build support to the sort of the entire nation, really, as opposed to just sort of sticking into major stadiums with nobody in it. But yeah, those are my takeaways. Let me know what yours are down in the comments below. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.